Hello, and today we are talking about performance anxiety. So, that awful fear that knots your stomach up and makes you feel, oh, I'm going to go terribly wrong when you're on the brink of doing a performance. This video is for Lealah, as she specifically requested a video about how to deal with your nerves before performance. But this is also for any one of you who is worried about going on stage and performing in front of an audience. My name is Claire and I'm an RAD ballet teacher, that's Royal Academy of Dance. I've been teaching ballet for 10 years and I actually worked as a professional dancer for 20 years. So I've been on stage a bit, so I've had to deal with those nerves more than once. So first of all, what you've got to remember is it's normal. It's a sign that you care. If you're feeling a bit nervous about an upcoming performance, it's kind of normal. You know, you want to do your best, you want to come across as your best, and you want the audience to enjoy a wonderful show. So it is normal to feel a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious in the lead up to going on stage. Now, if it's a one-off performance, it's a little bit more pressured because you've got one attempt. It's like your one shot. If you're leading up to a whole run of performances, you know that the first night is going to be a bit tough, it's going to be nerve-wracking, but then you'll get into a flow of it and it won't be so terrifying every single night. Yeah, you will start to feel a normality about it. It will always have that edge, especially if you are playing a leading role, because there's a lot more on your shoulders. It's more noticeable if you make a mistake, but you will find your feet and get settled, honestly. So let's talk about adrenaline. Adrenaline does have its benefits. Yep, it's a natural painkiller. So if you're feeling a bit achy after rehearsals and you're finding it's all a bit hard work, the adrenaline will put paid for that. Yeah, literally, even if you've pulled a muscle, not that I recommend dancing on a torn muscle or anything, but if you've pulled a muscle, you will not feel it if that happens during the show. You'll feel it the next day for sure, but you won't feel it during the show. You'll carry on, well, unless you've really done something awful, which has happened. Not to me, thank goodness, but to many dancers. But yeah, adrenaline is this incredible hormone that works as an amazing painkiller. It gives you a massive boost of energy, and it also adds a little sparkle. It adds that little bit of a zing to your performance. I mean, basically, adrenaline is our fight or flight hormone. That's what makes us have that massive power surge to run away from the tiger that's chasing you. So it's naturally going to be a really powerful hormone. We don't really need it in the modern world, but it can be helpful in a performing situation. What you don't want is there to be so much adrenaline that it overwhelms you. Okay, so what I recommend thinking about is actually think about the fear and think about excitement. And if you think about them logically, they both have the same physical sensations. It's triggered by the same instinct. So excitement is where you kind of think you know what the outcome's going to be. It's like your birthday or Christmas Day. You're excited. You're thinking, oh, what's it going to be like? Am I going to get a nice present? Or is it just going to be a really super fun day? Whereas fear is a situation where it's the same thing. You're excited, but you're not sure what the outcome's going to be. And there's a part of you that's fearing that it may not be what you want. Like you might make a huge mistake. Let's look at the worst case scenarios. You might make a huge mistake. You might fall over on stage. You might entirely forget the choreography. So yeah, they're quite real fears to have, but no one's actually going to, I hate to say it, no one's going to actually die from those. They're not the worst in the world. Yes, you might make a mistake. The audience don't know the choreography. Okay, so if you make a little mistake, no one is going to notice. If you make a mistake and go and stop dancing, everyone's going to notice. Okay, so yeah, you can make a mistake. Yes, you could fall over, but do you know what? That's where adrenaline comes in again. You bounce back up, you don't even feel the fall until tomorrow, and then you carry on, and it's such a blink of an eye the audience wouldn't even notice. If you have a blank, I've had a blank. I've been on stage right in the middle at the front and thought, what comes next? I've been doing the show for probably about a year and a half, maybe a year and a quarter. So I really knew what I was doing. And literally, I was probably thinking about what I was going to have for tea. And then I suddenly came into the show and thought, oh, what's the next step? It's a chorus number, so everyone's doing the same thing. And literally, I had to turn around and go, oh, yes, that's what it is. And I joined in. You just improvise, pretend that nothing's happened and carry on. And you'll be amazed at how little that is noticed by an audience. So we've talked about fear and excitement. And what happens when you're fearful is that you're expecting it to be not such a good outcome. What happens when you're excited is you're expecting it to be a good outcome. You think it's going to go really, really well. So what the trick is, or a really good trick, is to flip your feelings. Because what can happen with the fear side, and it's a very necessary thing, if you were running away from a tiger, you don't want to be worrying about, oh, that lovely river over there, oh, that lovely tree. You want to be focusing on your escape path, okay? So that's what fear does. It goes, you get perceptual narrowing, you focus on one thing, which might not be the best thing to focus on. And this can happen in any scenario that's scary. So usually it's so that you can concentrate on the thing in hand that needs to be done. With dancing, you don't really want that. You want to have your mind, you still want to have access to your full mind. You still want to be able to remember the choreography, add the nuances of performance. Yes. So the minute you find yourself thinking, oh, I feel a bit scared, think, no, wait a minute. Those sensations are the same as excitement. I've got butterflies in my tummy. I'm a bit sweaty. My hands are sweaty. I'm a bit shaky. I've got jelly legs. Yeah, they're all signs of fear, but they are also signs of excitement. And when your brain thinks you're excited, it stops looking for the problem. So you're less likely to get that perceptual narrowing. Okay. When your brain's looking for the problem, it's not functioning in its executive mode, in its clever mode. It's basically going, where's the problem? Where's the problem? And it's in panic mode. So it's either going, that's the problem, I've got to focus on it, or it's going, where is the problem? I need to find it so I can focus in. Whereas you want to be, I'm excited, this is fantastic. I'm going to have a fabulous performance and everything's going to go well. So if you can flip that, it will have a really positive impact on the way you perform. So it is a good idea to think about what could go wrong ahead of time, not literally just before you go on stage, but do think, okay, yeah, I could trip over that step. I could stumble down the staircase if you're doing like a wonderful, fabulous coming down the stairs. It could be that you forget a lyric in a song, yes? So think ahead. Think, okay, those are the things that could go wrong. I'm going to plan for them. If that happens, I'm going to jump up. If this happens, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen because I'm going to rehearse it so much beforehand that I don't go on unprepared. That's the other thing. So think about what could go wrong and plan ahead. Do your homework. Know if you've got lines or song to sing, know your lines, know the lyrics. There's nothing worse than going on thinking, I don't know if I know it. I understand if you've been thrown on. Well done for learning it super quickly. If you're stepping in someone's shoes, that's a whole different ball game. But I'm talking about if you've had your full rehearsal time, etc., etc. Yes, you've got no excuse. So make sure you've done your homework. Go over that choreography, visualize it in your head as you're going to sleep. Whenever I'm rehearsing a show, literally the music of the show becomes, this is so sad, the music of the show becomes the backing track to my dreams. And I find myself subconsciously going through the choreography in my sleep. I also know for a fact that that sleep process really, really, really embeds the choreography in your head. I remember doing a show for a fabulous choreographer, a really lovely guy. And all of us were professional dancers. We'd been dancing a long time in West End, commercial, all sorts of stuff. And we had to learn a can-can, and it was to be performed that night. So we all rehearsed that morning and then did the show that night. And it wasn't like just, oh, a little straightforward can-can. He choreographed a fantastic can-can. Yeah, it was really imaginative, really creative, with lots going on. And so we rehearsed it that day, and we practice and practice and practice, got it in our bodies as much as we possibly could in that day. But we all made mistakes. We still went wrong. The audience didn't know. They wouldn't have a clue. But the choreographer, bless him, was literally like, yeah, it was just coming together, looking really good. Then someone would go wrong. Then someone else would go wrong. But he was quite forgiving. He understood that we literally learned it that day. And as I said, it wasn't just a straightforward, oh yeah, let's do a kick line type can. Anyway, so that's another thing. So really make sure you've thought ahead, thought of the potential problems, make sure you know the stuff, know what you're doing, so you feel confident in it, and get a good night's sleep. Do, if you can, practice it the day before. Do all the practicing the day before, so you've had a good sleep on it. I mean, ideally you've had a couple of weeks to rehearse the show, so you know you'll have had several sleeps on it. So fingers crossed that's how it's gone. But the more you can sleep on it and think it through in your dreams, the better embedded it gets in your system. So that will help you feel confident as well. Imagine it going well. Yeah, I know we often think of worst case scenarios, but also imagine it going well. Think, oh, this is what it's going to feel like if it goes well. Imagine the audience cheering and standing up. Imagine how that's going to feel. It's going to feel fantastic. So if you remember, that's going to feel amazing. Yeah, don't think about the potential of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so embarrassed. You won't be embarrassed if you go in full steam ahead, give it your all, do the homework, and perform your socks off. You will not feel embarrassed. Okay, don't forget your expression, don't forget the story you're telling, don't forget all that side of it, not just the choreography, the musicality, all, the whole thing. You're on stage, so you need that expression. Remember my video about getting your expression to reach beyond the first row. You need to be projecting that to the back row, but that's a whole other thing that's nothing to do with nerves. Having said that, sometimes when you're really nervous, you can go into blank face concentration mode. You do not want that. So really, really make sure that you find a way of having a concentrating face that is expressive and that is projecting out to the audience. So make sure you work on that. So that's it really. The other thing I'd say is enjoy. Yeah, you're going on stage. It is such a fantastic experience. If it's your first time on stage, honest to goodness, you will love it. Yes, that feeling when you see the audience looking at you, cheering and clapping is, I mean, it's the biggest ego trip in the world, really. You can't replace it. You can't mimic it with anything else. It's very hard to find something else that brings that same kind of joy. It is really quite overwhelming. It's quite amazing. Yeah, so lap that up and enjoy the performance, and do let me know. If you'd like to dance with me, you can click the link below and you can try one of my online ballet classes free of charge. It can be done anytime, night or day. And if you like that, you can join the Bridge Ballet Club and have a ballet class anytime you like, as many times as you like in a month. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.